think. Hey, we're live now. Look at that. I just gotta make sure that it looks good, and then we'll be ready to go. But, yeah, we're back. Another ranking stream. We, did do one last week, but we're able to do one this week. I was busy. I think. Hey, I can hear myself. Okay, cool. Let me just post this in the channel, and then we'll be good to go. Our first weapon to rank is going to be Alchemy Pot. As for the ranking, like, tiers themselves, we have a few metrics here. Run defining is something that you kind of build your whole run around. There's a number of different items, or like it's potentially a weapon that like carries your whole run. Like you win because of it. There's a few weapons that fit that category in my mind. Then there's weapons that are great throughout, weapons that are good throughout. Then there's kind of like early game weapons that are great and early game weapons that are good. These probably aren't going to be this in the same like. Anything that is good throughout or great throughout would also probably be great in Act 1 and 2, or great in Act, or good in Act 1 and 2. And then there's the desperate take or usually skip. Usually you skip it for gold, but you might desperately take it if you feel like the 1 extra damage or something is really gonna be impactful. But yeah, that's kind of it. I hope that explanation is solid. How do you feel about it, GA?
No, that was spot on. Perfect.
Cool. So on that note, how do you feel about Alchemy Pot, one of the new weapons introduced in the Saudi Isles DLC?
Yeah, it's funny as I look at these, I think because obviously you can find weapons in fights and in boss encounters and things like that, mini boss encounters, and you can also find them in a shop. And Alchemy Pot, anything that draws, and there are some flasks that are you just might play anyway on a healer. I'm generally interested in this, and it gives some base damage too. But I wouldn't pay money for it. I don't think it's good enough where I'd actually part with our hard-earned gold for this. But if I picked it up from a reward or something, and I just happened to be playing flasks, then yeah, I'll take it just for free draw, if that makes sense. So I'm tempted to put it in good.
Good throughout.
Yeah, it's kind of fine, right?
Yeah, I could see it. I've liked it on Bernard, but I agree. It's kind of just like a good throughout. Flask isn't a very widely used card type, so you don't get that much draw from it most of the time. And like most of the Flask cards aren't that incredible. Also, hello, Bin and Kevon. How's it going? Icebreaker's got to be S tier. I'm not open to debate. I mean, if there was an S tier, it probably would be. But it's probably going to be in run defining. Spoiler. Alright, Archmage book. So, yeah, I mean, this is kind of similar to Alchemy Pot, except it's for spells and activates 2 times a turn. You don't get an AoE, like, status effect on enemies of wet and poison. So it's not helpful in that regard, but as we've established, draw is pretty good. I would say this is great throughout, right?
Agreed, yeah, 100%. Yeah, spells are ubiquitous, they're everywhere. You can play this on a support, you can play this on speed controller. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. And like this is something, yeah. you're gonna want to see lots of these on most teams, unless you're like all warriors or something.
Yeah, 100%.
Alright, then we have something like a battle axe, which I don't know. I maybe like put this as like good in Act 1 or 2 potentially if you need some like just damage or bleed.
I agree.
I don't think it's terrible, but it also just doesn't impact you that much. The bleed charges are nice. Anything that gives you some sort of like damage is good, but yeah. Berserker claws. These are, I would say this is great throughout. I mean,
great throughout or even run defining if you find it. Yeah,
I would put this as run defining, except you can't guarantee it. What's weird is like, I think I'm gonna put Edge of Fury, which is basically just like Berserker claws but slightly worse, in run defining. But you can guarantee that item, right? So
sure.
I don't know if that makes sense, but I think run defining items, like things that you build around, are all items that you can guarantee.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me.
But yeah.
So speaking of which,
Black Deck.
I found one.
Yeah. This is something that you can build around. This is a run defining card or weapon in my book. I don't know. Do you have any like crazy combos that you like to do with this?
Um, I like it because it makes omniscience less bad and necropotence less bad because you get things to discard. You get like necro fodder.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many interactions, right? It's not bad with Wilbur. He gets discounts with books.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here, but just the fact that it makes dark explode at 30 obviously is great.
Yeah, it's nice to get those resistances down. You get free dark application in the curse cards, and the +2 dark charges is huge for most dark runs. Like dark teams need plus dark charges. I'm not necessarily talking about like shadow damage because there you just need sharp, but like if you're trying to get a lot of damage out of the dark explosion, you really need this. And it's nice to have it guaranteed because it used to not be guaranteed whatsoever. But then you could just fish for one in the starting shop. I believe you search for Cup of Death and it'd be great. Okay. Okay, so we have a Bloodseeker.
I've not unlocked it.
You've not unlocked it. Anyways, I would say this is good throughout. This isn't necessarily game changing, but it's 4 damage if you just like 4 of your slashing damage if you're going for that. It gives you +2 bleed charges, and it gives you what's it called? That bleed on hit effect, which is actually super impactful. You like this on any run where you're going bleed as like a huge source of damage, or if you want to stack bleed quickly. I mean, this is like the passive effect of Grookly and or Sylvie, and you can also stack those 2 effects together if you want to get that that bleed off. You can get easily to like the max cap with Bloodseeker in a single turn on like a non-carry Grookly or Sylvie. So if you need the bleed, it's nice. It's really good. If not, I mean... it still won't hurt your early game, usually, because like 4 bleed on every hit's kind of decent damage against most hallway fights. But that's just my take.
Yeah. No, I get.
I got messaged. I'm tempted to check it. Anyways, I'll check
It wasn't me.
in a bit. It wasn't you. It might be Bin Bin.
Yeah, so you can ignore it.
I'll ignore it safely. Okay. Blunderbuss. What does Blunderbuss do again?
It's not dissimilar from the rationale of Alchemy Pot, where if you play ranged, it's really weird, right? Because it's blunt and fire damage. It's just a nano-kill item, and it's when you play a ranged attack, draw a card, draw one time a turn. So again, if you're doing like volcanic axe stuff, so I think it's like fine if you're playing ranged and you just want to draw an extra card. So be it. But I don't know. I think it's just fine. It's a lot other better candidates to me.
Okay, yeah, that's sort of how I feel. There's just usually you're gonna find something better, but it is like a decent take early. Also, apparently it was you. I got your message that you sent at 2:07.
Oh, I sent that. I
Yeah,
sent
that's
that
kinda
when I had bad signal.
No,
that's fine.
that's totally fine. But yeah, I'd say this is either like good throughout or like kind of great Act 1,
Maybe
Act 2.
good in Act 1, Act 2. I think it's
Good in
fine.
Act 1? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like I like that it gives some charges. I like that it gives 1 draw. Like, for the runs that you would take it on. And obviously that's sort of the caveat for most of these weapons. I mean, some of them are more ubiquitous than others. Maybe I should have like a row for that.
Ooh, have we got we're not doing like heroes items, are we?
We are doing heroes items.
Okay, cool. Just making sure.
Yeah, we are gonna do that, and one of those included is Bone Claws, which I think this is one of the best starting weapons, actually, believe it or not. I think the only reason Bone Claws suffers is from Yelmer, who's immune to bleed, and there's some of the small trees that are immune to bleed as well. But this is really good for early game bleed damage.
Yeah, I personally would put it as good, just because bleed. Like if you're going in that direction, you've made probably made a mistake.
I mean, I will say like bleed kind of clears the early game really easily outside of Yelmer, where you have to like prepare slightly for. Um, but like you have no trouble on Madness 18 clearing any fights with bleed as like a main source. Like Rookly with the on bleed apply on hit is really helpful, at least in my experience. But I agree, bleed is not really like the most amazing strategy. But if you are doing it, it kind of holds strong for a bit. You replace Bone Claws with Bloodseeker eventually, or Yager's Cleaver, honestly, if you're
Yeah.
not going double bleed. I just did one recently, and that was kind of fun.
What's with our alphabetical order here? We have club before bonk.
Yeah, I don't know why, but when I copied it over, things got messed up. I also noticed we were missing Blood Goblet. I'm like hoping I didn't just like miss copying it down, but I might have. We might have to go back to that or something. Um, but we'll see. I don't know where this goes. We'll put it here for now, in the middle of the CHs. That makes sense. Um, so Bonk Hammer. I mean, it's weird to say this is good throughout. Like all these mythic. This is a mythic item that you like don't get until the very late game, but like if I got it, I'd like it.
It's like it's pretty underwhelming for a mythic.
It
Um,
is. Yeah.
it's just fine, especially in High Madness, where um,
Yeah, it's some
weakness is not that good.
right.
Um,
Like sometimes a
there's a lot
pocket
of
slow.
immunity to it.
I've liked it for that reason. Plus 3 damage is on all damage is also fine.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, you do get to say bonk,
you do get to
um,
say bonk. Yeah.
which is it's fun.
If you do get the purple bonk hammer, it's also a big pocket slow and 3 vulnerable, which is kind of nice. But yeah, it's weird. I'm not like we're not directly ranking purples of items, but like some of these items are you're a lot more likely to get purples of than others, just because you can buy
Yeah,
multiples of them. So like
yeah.
a bucket, like you're super likely to get a purple of, in a weird way.
Yeah.
Um, but
I'm
yeah,
gonna go with good throughout. I mean, like compare this with Netherblade, and it's just like it's so bad.
yeah, that's true. I'm like, so I'm trying to like think of Netherblade. Like, there's some items. I think I'm gonna redo a tier here really quickly, or just make a tier. Now I've thought about it. Um, there's some items that are like great on any team or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't
Best in
know,
slot.
huh?
I don't know. Best in slot or something like that. Or
Yeah, like kind of best in slot. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's like even Netherblade,
graph.
you might not take on every team, but yeah, it's like it's kind of there. I mean, Bonk Hammer like almost gets there, but I don't want to make this tier list too big. It's gonna be hard
Yeah,
to talk about it, but yeah. Then we have an item like Bucket. I'll be honest, I normally skip this one unless I'm like
I take it.
I find it for free on a
I
wet
think it's
team.
yeah. I think I find it. If I can find it on a wet team, obviously getting additional wet charges is quite hard.
It is,
And I
yeah.
find that there aren't outside of rain and blizzard, there aren't many ways to apply wet, and obviously the slime. So I found that I generally have taken this. That being said, it's normally something I will take, and then once I get freezing ink, then it replaces this. But I do take it
Yeah.
in Act One.
Yeah,
If
like
I put
I don't hate it, but I don't know, sometimes I want a better card than I want Bucket, but I mean it really depends. If I am full wet, then I do like it a lot.
yeah, Burning Orb is
Same
great,
with Burning
great in
Orb.
Act One and Act Two.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, this is
and
like
then obviously Volcanic Axe eventually. If you're playing this, you're generally
mhm.
pathing to Velcraft, where you're taking Volcanic Axe. Um, so it's almost like a placeholder to
Yeah.
get the better item.
No, I agree. Um but Burning Orb, I mean it kind of carries the early game for burn teams. You don't have to worry about charges as much.
Yeah,
Uh then we have Butcher's Knife, which is bad. I mean, this is I mean, I would skip this normally. Most bleed teams I have don't take Butcher's Knife because most bleed teams are like Grookly and maybe Sylvie. And Sylvie
Yep.
doesn't care about +1 bleed charges as much as she cares about most other things. So
Yep. Exactly.
this is like almost always a
Cool.
skip. Cauldron.
Cauldron is in the same boat as Alchemy Pot. Draws you a card. If you have
Yeah.
flasks, card draw's never bad.
Yeah, it's just it's a weaker version of Alchemy Pot. It's weird to put it in the same tier list, but yeah. Chalice of Kings. This one's weird. I think this one's pretty great, at least on the teams that it applies.
Yep, I think it's great throughout too.
Yeah, it gives you the plus bless charges, which is pretty nice. And then if you are holy and sanctify damage, like a Reginald really goes well with Chalice of Kings. So
Yeah, just the plus bless alone for me is puts it in the great, and then it just has upside from there with the heal and the holy.
yeah, and then Chalice of Queens. I need to like look at this one again. Chalice of Queens. Yeah, whenever
The
you play a
Maluka
spell,
item.
random hero gains regen. It is a Maluka
It's a
item.
Maluka, yeah, it's a Maluka item.
Yeah, I mean, it's plus dark charges, which is useful for that team. It's +3
Yep.
shadow damage, which is relevant for Maluka. You pretty much only take this on Maluka, but it is pretty good for her. Like, it's, I don't know, maybe great for her, depending on how you're running her. But if you run her like I do, I think it's pretty great, actually. I don't know if it's good on all teams. Maybe it's good throughout, but
Yeah, usually I play black deck on a support character, not necessarily the damaging character. So I could see Chalice of Queens being good or great, specifically on the shadow carry.
yeah, it's
I think
like,
the problem, like Curse Dagger applies dark with hit,
mhm.
which is competing with. So
Yeah,
I think it's behind Cursed Dagger for me. Just dark on hit, I think, is better than the extra additional darkness personally.
I absolutely agree. And honestly, most of the time I do like to go for black deck over Chalice of Queens even. It's a good, yeah, I'll say good throughout. It's a good item. Club. This is like another desperate take.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not generally needed. It's an early game item though, so sometimes it's nice. I'll talk about like dagger and some other items. There's some of the early game weapons that give you
Yeah, you
plus sharp
speculate.
charges. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
When you get that purple, but okay, chaotic spear. I haven't actually had too much experience with this one, but right off the bat, I don't think it's very great. I think it's fine.
Great. Yeah, there's not much synergy between what it's doing, the on-hit effects, and so I think it's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I feel like I like.
Good Act 1, 2, good Act 1 or 2, or great Act 1, 2, maybe.
Yeah, I'll put a great act 1 or 2. I was tempted to say great throughout or good throughout, but like honestly, there's those elements in particular, like even the spark, like you might only care about it for spark, in which case you want other stuff like this next weapon coming up. um, so yeah.
Yeah.
Charge
Charge Trident's,
Charge Trident's
it's no
amazing.
Mjolnir. It's no Mjolnir, but it's pretty good.
It is. I haven't done the math. I'm pretty sure
Baited.
mathematically. I'm pretty
Baited.
sure it.
I'm just
Yeah, I'm baited.
baiting
I know.
you.
I know. I'm responding. I'm rising to the bait. I'm pretty sure mathematically, Charge Trident is going to be best for most like just electric runs, or at least as good. In which case, you might as well just take Charge Trident because it's way easier to get. Oh my gosh, this weapon's amazing though. This weapon. Sorry, I just want to like gush about it.
It is
for a bit.
amazing.
Yeah, the damage apply spark on hit, which is already great. Transforming your damage to electricity, which is worse than it used to be, but still pretty nice for getting a lot of cards that like you might not otherwise have access to. I just did a run with Reginald actually. That was full electric damage Reginald, which was a lot of fun. Even though I forgot the wet charges on Reginald, the damage on hit was still great. We got up to 50 wet usually by the end of fights on the last act. This carries a whole run. Like your run
It's funny
transforms.
how underwhelming the corrupt version is. It's just an extra charge. Like functionally, same with the others. It's so strange how it says all damage +3, and then lightning damage +3 is so fringe that would make a difference.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And then the purple version of it is just more charges, which never
that's
hurts.
what I'm saying. Yeah, the purple version is kind of underwhelming. There's some corrupted versions that are much better, but
Yeah.
not this one.
I mean, +1 wet charge is significant, though. I like it. Though it's weird because in order to corrupt it, you'd have to give up like the, like to guarantee corrupt it, you have to give up the ring that gives you wet charges as well from the Hydra, and then it just doesn't make any sense. Um, Anyways, then we have Cold Bone Goblet, another run definer. I mean, this is like one of those items that is absolutely useless unless you're building around it. Maybe
Yeah,
not
yeah,
absolutely useless because chill still has some like niche application, but you want to build around this item.
yeah. And then when you do, it's one of the most busted things in the game.
Yeah, this is what let Magnus, like, I didn't deal any other damage basically outside of poison and bleed, and then Cold Bone Goblet for an entire run, and it won because of this item. So that's how powerful this can be.
Yeah, it's about as on the nose as run defining as you can be.
Yeah. Cold Book. I mean, this is like part of
Oh,
that
are
series.
you still showing the tier list?
Oh, I'm still showing the tier list. Yeah. Sorry, give me that second. Cold Book. Yeah. I want to just show Cold Bone Goblet really quick.
Where did you put it in the tier list? Run defining.
It's run defining in the top
Ah, there
of
we
the
go.
tier
Okay,
list.
now I see it.
Yeah.
Now I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, for Cold Book, or sorry, yeah, for Cold Book, this is like, I mean, this is going to be in like the same spec as like probably Alchemy Pot, Cauldron, that sort of stuff. It's kind of just good throughout. Like, if
Yeah,
you
it's funny. It's almost
play
like
cold
it's
spells.
so great in Act One, Act Two. It's just if you find this in the shop, you're so happy about it. And then yeah, it does get a little bit outclassed in the late game, um, where if you find the hammer or glacial hammer or freezing ink or something or icebreaker, obviously even ice orb.
Yeah.
But the fact that it draws, I think it's great Act One, Act Two. I don't know. It's just so good in the early game. It's just
Yeah.
hard to say good throughout because the spike in the early game, you're just delighted to get one of these.
Okay, actually, is it fair to say that anything that is good throughout would be great in Act 1 or Act 2?
Sure.
Because
Yeah, I could get on board with that logic. Yeah.
yeah, like I kind of feel that way. Like Bloodseeker, if you could get Act 1, would be amazing. Alchemy Pot 2, actually, for all the rain, like all the wet charges you could apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's true for any of these.
Yeah. The next two we could probably do together. The crossbow and continuum blade are
Yeah,
functionally very similar.
they are functionally very similar. Although, I want to say, I feel like melee attacks are more common.
Yeah, true.
So it's like Continuum Blade's just slightly better than Crankbow, but I mean these are like right there with Archmage Book. They're not quite at the same level because I feel like Archmage Book, like you said, spells are kind of more common just generally. But Continuum Blade and Crank Crossbow are great. Like we use these on like high nerve for like bluffs. You might use this on like
Andrin with slice.
Andrin with Slice. You get the free slices. You get Crank Crossbow on Sylvie for like a quick shot. All of those feel really great. It is draw, and draw is great. Exactly, Kevon. Exactly. All right, Crossbow is down there with Club. This is not that amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those where you will speculate on one. It's so cheap. And if you find a second one, then you get additional sharp charges. So if you have Gustav or Yoga and you're buffing other characters, if you can find that second crossbow, I usually will speculate and just hope to find the second one just on the off chance because it's not much for gold sync. And then if you do, then it just becomes very good.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Gosh, it's getting a little bit dicey, but I want to make a row for the speculation.
Speculate.
I mean, because like it's so like it is how like I mean we clearly both see items. Maybe I'll get rid of the great any team. Oh my god, I have to do it this way. Okay.
Yeah, get rid of that.
Yeah, I'll get rid of this.
Because the same is true with Clairvoyant Scroll, right? Like Clairvoyant Scroll kind of sucks, and then if you get the purple version, it's just outrageous.
Yeah, and this is like far more relevant for items than it ever was for cards. Cards you could kind of get a good chance at with this stuff, but like for items, you're buying multiple copies. But yeah, crossbow is one of those great speculate items for sure. Uh, Crystal Ball. I mean, if you're a sight team, it's good Act 1, Act 2.
Put it in skip. Come on.
If you're a
Skip it.
sight team, it's good Act 1, Act 2. If you're not, it's pretty skippable.
Come on. It's a skip. Come on.
But what if you're a sight team?
Exactly. Then you're not a side team, so it's a skip.
I'm gonna leave it there for now.
Okay.
Okay, Cup
Okay.
of Death. I mean, it's either good throughout or like incredible Act 1, Act 2.
Yeah, it's kind of bait. Right, late game. It's
Yeah,
enough to. I think it's good or great in Act 1 and Act 2,
that's how I feel.
and then you need to get rid of it.
Yeah, you replace it
Once
with
you
Black
fail.
Deck or something better.
Yeah.
But if
Hmm.
your dark charges like this, like if your dark charges like and you're struggling to just blow people up, Cup of Death will like save your Act 1. Like it changes how Act 1 feels entirely. Either
Yeah.
with Zek or Maluka. Cursed Dagger. I mean, this is one of the best dark applicators.
Yeah. It's probably great. Right. It's up
Yeah,
there.
it's great throughout for sure. Um, you pretty much want this if you're a dark team that hits a lot, which is most dark teams. So, yeah. Purple equipment is good. Thank you, Chumsy. Thank you. Crystal Ball is barely worth pondering. If you're a sight team, you go for Black Deck. Okay, look.
Thank you. Thank you.
Black Deck isn't available Act 1, okay? Dagger's another speculation, just like Crossbow. This is another
Yeah.
weapon that can give you sharp. The
Sharp
Runestone.
charges.
Runestone, I mean, this is kind of okay. Desperate usually takes.
I actually, yeah,
Sometimes
the
I'll
ghoul one.
speculate, yeah, for the
It's
Sanctify.
harder to corrupt. It's harder to corrupt than what's the other one that you find? It's so weird that
Yeah. The Sanctify
that
one.
there's two, right? I'm trying to think. The
There is.
Sacred Tablet's the other one. Yeah, and like I don't know, it's so strange. They're basically they're very similar. Yeah, I think it is a skip. The ghoul,
Yeah.
but they're very similar,
Yeah,
especially
like
when they're corrupted.
I will say like I think Sacred I do like for Act 1, but Ghoul
agreed.
generally not, unless I'm speculating,
No.
which sometimes I am.
Yeah.
Destiny. I mean, this would be run defining if you could put it there, but like it's absolutely great if you could get it early somehow, but you can't. Like
Yep, has a lot of utility. I mean, obviously you can play it on the carry, but you could play it on any character that wants a discount. So
yeah, I mean discard by 4 is huge.
yeah,
And then if you happen to get Purple Destiny somehow, which I've had the privilege of a few times, making 2 of your highest cost cards like probably free, even on a support, is amazing. That's like 2 free divine powers, right? Who says no? Destroyer Gauntlets. This would be run defining as well if you could find it. What's weird is like I seize Destroyer Gauntlets so often and never take it because I'm not doing that type of damage.
yeah,
But on a run where I am going for all in on Blunt, it would be great. Like it's fantastic.
yeah. And then you're usually pathing to Icebreaker anyway, and kind of perking for it.
If you're going, yeah, like Icebreaker, Navalia, that sort of stuff. I don't know. I like this. I've gotten like straight damage, blunt damage on Bree, like all physical, and like I just take another
it's very
worse
good, yeah.
weapon instead that actually is really impactful. Gil
Yeah.
Runestone has the benefit of being guaranteed in the chapel, so I might speculate on it for purple. That's a fair point. Yeah. I wasn't sure if
That
it was
Otis
actually
is-
guaranteed.
Otis's node, right? I think it's either you get Ghoul and you also get Sacred Tablet. I think there's definitely a Sanctify one that you always get at Otis's node.
Yeah, I thought that like Otis's node it switched off between the
It
two.
can, I think. Yeah, it does.
Divination Orb. I mean, this is like
It sucks.
This is like Battle Axe. If you're going mind damage, you're going sight, you're going insanity, you want divination orb, it's good for the early game.
It's,
It's not
I
great.
guess it's good if you're playing Nez in the traditional way, then
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah, if you're
Yeah,
playing Nez the
but
traditional way, you like divination orb. It's not bad. It's just not amazing. And it will help your early game for sure.
yeah.
Dracomancer's staff. I've never gone out of my way to actually get this. I've never felt like it was necessary. What's weird is I don't find the item bad. Maybe it's just like on a path I don't particularly like. Like you have to give up
I
the
have not.
armory.
Yeah, I've not unlocked it.
Oh, let's take a look at it. I mean, I'm sure you know what it does, but no.
I know what it does. I
Yeah,
just
just
have
for
never
everybody.
felt the need to. I've not felt the need to. Never found myself wanting to go and get it.
Divination orb is a better crystal ball, which isn't saying much. Thanks, Chumsy.
Yeah, yeah, agreed.
Okay. Every 2 turns, put a flash freeze into your hand. Flash freeze is a stun. I think what's weird about this item, obviously you get +3 chill charges and +3 chill or cold damage, which is actually really good. Those aren't bad charges. The flash freeze is actually also pretty good if you're going on somewhat extended fights, like you're usually ending fights in round 2 or 3. It would be so much better if you could get this turn 1 and then it procced every 2 turns or something like that, because that would make this a lot more impactful. This could straight up win you floor fights, but the problem is it doesn't work on any bosses on the highest level, so you just suffer.
Yeah, agreed.
So I never think it's good, like great going out of the way for it. I don't know. I'm gonna put like this is maybe good
Low.
throughout. I wouldn't
Yeah,
do it. Like
yeah.
Dream Sphere. This is an item I've come around to slightly.
It's fine.
I think it's
good
like good early game, maybe good
early game. Yeah,
good late
early
game.
game.
Yeah, I'm usually replacing this item, but I do like it early game. It gives me my discount sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, agreed.
My favorite thing about Dracomancer staff is that the art looks like a fish. Ooh. Yeah. Durandal. This is so close to
Such
being.
a strange one.
It
It's
is
such a strange one.
It's so weird. It's so close to being run defining. I've built so many runs trying to make this like my primary like weapon, but it's hard.
Yeah, like for Gustav Carry specifically,
Yes.
it's yeah, this becomes very interesting because Bless and Sharp are very relevant, and you play spells too. Yeah, I would maybe put this in great or good, especially if you're playing a sharp support, you've got things like Grinding Wheel, Chant of Accuracy, Sharpen, then obviously getting plus sharp charges can be quite difficult. So the fact that you have a guaranteed way to do it with some upside is quite nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even though it's an underwhelming epic, it's still obviously it's still pretty great.
Yeah. Totally agree. It is. It's great, but it's in a weird way.
It's great, but it could have been so much better.
It could have been. It could have been more. I don't know, coherent or something. Like I agree. Gustav Carry is the only carry I'm like super excited to find it on.
Yeah.
Dynamite. Dynamite is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't really. I actually just usually skip it at the time that you find dynamite. I forget where it is. I feel like this is like a. Let's see. I don't know.
You get it in the DLC zone. It's fine. I think if you had like a deflect on your carry, then it does something. Otherwise, yeah, you just skip it.
Yeah, I think a one random monster. Yeah, I mean it's just not worth like building around. You'd have to do so much to make it pop. I'm never taking it. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Kevon. I don't take it. Edge of Fury. This is weird. I actually think this is run defining, and if you disagree, I can explain.
Explain. No, I'm just joking. You've already explained it. It's your criteria.
I did.
It's the fact that you can get it. Obviously, Berserker Claw is much better, but you can't guarantee it. So that's why.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Edge of Fury, you can guarantee this. If you're struggling with making Grookly carry work, try going for Edge of Fury, guaranteeing it to get your 2 Fury Well, it'll be 3 Fury, 2 times a turn, so you'd get 6 total. That's 30% more damage on a single turn, plus it actually is relevant damage type for Grookly. This can change your world, especially if you're not buffing him too much in other ways. Though I recommend putting Sharp. It makes a big difference there. Eldritch Sword. It's like good throughout, but not like great.
Yeah, it's interesting this one because
Like it's never great
it,
Act 1, Act 2. This is kind of like defeats my idea, but
you do get it
Act
quite
1.
often because of the rifts, so it does pop up occasionally. And I think it's better as a defensive. It's a one permanent mitigate, right? Like
Oh yeah.
just one mitigate, -1 damage taken, and then next turn is -2, and then next turn is -3. Is when you're on your tanks, you're kind of starved for good weapons. So this is actually a fine tank weapon.
Yeah, it's like it's either this or like a draw weapon usually, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I totally agree. It never like feels like it's been that impactful on my runs. Like I've taken this on Heiner like a lot of times or any of my tanks, but it's fine.
yeah.
What's weird is like Eldritch Wand is actually really amazing.
It's really good. Yeah,
like like I've taken this all
it's
the
better
way.
than the
Yeah,
it's better than the sword.
like
Much better than the sword.
I've taken this all the way to the late game, and it's actually been pretty great, which is weird. But I guess like
Yeah,
you play enough
the,
spells, and it does the
the
right
craziest
damage.
thing about it is it's got almost every item has X times per turn, and this has no limit. So you
Hmm.
play like an icicle barrage, and it procs 4 times off one spell. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
And you
right.
could you could proc this 10 to 15 times with Amelia if you're playing your deck right, like in one turn.
Yeah, easily. It.
And the purple version is obviously great too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's
the
really really good.
that extra charges. Yeah, yeah. Like this weapon's amazing, and it's weird because like I see the uncommon rating on it, and I'm just like, like that's not that amazing. And I've taken it so many times, I've been like, this has actually like made my run so much smoother. Like,
Yeah.
I love Eldritch
It's
Wand.
also like inadvertent speed control sometimes as
Oh
well. I
yeah,
find that I'm just playing suddenly like an enemy just got slowed down by Y, and it was like, oh, Eldritch Wand slowed down the enemy
Bin
before
Bin's
the carry even goes, which is great.
no, Bin, you're wrong. Eldritch Wand definitely does not need a proc limit. No, no, don't do it.
No, yeah, yeah.
Keep it
Whoa,
strong.
Bin,
Up the
what the
rarity of
hell?
it. I don't care because like just make it the same
Take
rarity as
take
Eldritch Sword. People will be
take
more
prop
excited about it.
limits off the other cards if you're looking for consistency.
The one downside is that you can only get it from Rifts. Yeah, that is the one downside of Eldritch Wand. You kind of have to have a
Yeah,
run that starts with it.
yeah.
Speaking of another wand, Iron Wand, not great. Bucket's better for wet teams generally, and like your electric carries start with can get better stuff. I mean, I guess Sigrun doesn't start with something better, but
Yeah.
Iron Wand's desperate.
Yeah, agreed.
Emerald Staff. Like at the time that you can
It was
guarantee
very
it,
late.
it's
Yeah,
like not
guarantee
great.
it quite late.
But you can find this early, and sometimes it's useful. I think it's
Yeah,
good.
obviously, yeah, it's good
Like,
if you can. There's good Blizzard. I'm thinking Blizzard in particular, right?
yeah,
I guess if you're
Blizzard,
fire,
Winter
if you're
Orb.
doing fire, yeah, it's
Right?
would cost greater than 5, right?
Oh, is it cost greater than 5? Oh, you're right. I
So,
forgot. I
yeah,
keep thinking of this as the old Emerald Staff. I haven't. That's
yeah,
how long it's been since I've played Emerald Staff.
yeah,
Purple
yeah,
one is Winter Orb.
yeah. There aren't. Yeah, obviously, very happy with Blizzard. You'd be very happy with Ball Lightning. But outside of that, there aren't that many really good high cost
I
spells.
I agree. It's just like 5 is just too hard. I remember when they made that change and Emerald Wand or Emerald Staff dropped hard for me. I actually like put it
Yeah,
down a notch. It can be right above Eldritch Sword. It's sometimes fun. Fiery Wand goes in the same club, I think, as Club. I don't know why it's here, and now we're going back to E, exotic spices. Don't worry about it. Um, exotic spices, if you get purple, it's pretty darn good. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, agreed. But
Uh,
it's
I don't know if this is a speculate. I've taken this for free and then gotten purple before, which is nice, but Yager makes
yeah,
it really good.
yeah. I think it's fine.
I think it's fine too. I don't think it's amazing. Um, but AoE Fury on your whole team plus Vitality and Regen is quite amazing.
Yeah.
Fire Book. It goes with Cold Book. It's right there, right
Yep.
next to it.
Same with Flail.
Same deal. Flail.
I think Flail's
Actually,
better
I think
than both of
Flail's.
them.
Yeah, I think Flail's better
Yeah.
than these because
Cauldron.
yeah, you're just
I think it's better than Alchemy Pot.
yeah, that's fair. I can do that. Alchemy Pot I'm still like iffy on because I do like the wet AoE on a team at least, even if it's only one proc.
Yeah.
Like it's no what's it called, freezing ink, but yeah. Fists of the Damned. This is a fun one. It's actually a great weapon if you're playing Navalia. If you're not playing, but the thing is, there's a better weapon if you're playing Navalia. But we'll get into that. Have you ever have you gone to this to use it?
I have not.
Okay. So this is AoE vulnerable, twice a turn, and gives you the +2 dark charges, +2 chill, gives you the +3 blunt damage, and when you play a spell, you lose 10% HP, and it's only spells, right? Not attacks or anything. So you can very much, it helps you manage your HP on Navalia. You can never lose too much HP because it's just percentage, and the vulnerable and crack on all monsters is usually pretty relevant, as are the charges that you're gaining. So it's a Navalia specific weapon. You have to have her to go to the spot where you can get it. It's part of a quest line. You can guarantee this weapon. Again, the problem is there's a better weapon for Navalia that you can also guarantee. So you're usually not taking this.
I just kind of think it's redundant because you can manage her health lots
And
of other ways already.
and you can do that too. I guess what I'll say is if you do take this on Navalia, I mean this might just be because Navalia is amazing. The run gets it still gets a huge upgrade in damage and it's really good. And also like I said, twice a turn you could apply 2 vulnerable to all monsters. It's pretty good. For 2 icicles, you can make some headway. Not icicles, ice lances. But yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Call this run defining, or is it great throughout? So
I put it great throughout.
just on Navalia only.
Yeah, 'cause
outside of Navalia, it's pretty bad, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can only get it with Navalia, too, so... For Dark build, it's better than Icebreaker. Yeah, if you're going Dark Navalia, you probably go Fists of the Damned, too. Probably, although Dark is weird, because you don't get the damage buff of Navalia as much on Dark, but that's a different problem. But yeah, I put it as great throughout. It is a guaranteed weapon that is fantastic. Unfortunately, it's just outshined. Flaming Sword is it's great. It's
good.
on
It's
hit
good.
burn. Yeah, I'd say it's good. it's on hit burn. The problem is it also is outclassed. So
Yeah.
Fountain Pen is amazing.
Yeah, Fountain Pen's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, if you're going books, I mean, I'll put it next to melee attacks and spells.
I mean, even if you're just Scroll of Intellect is never a bad book. And there are lots of, even Warrior has battle plan, things like that. So
yeah, the battle plan Fountain Pen is a very great combo, giving inspire to your whole team. That's just extra draw.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've skipped some items here. And then purple Fountain Pen.
Okay, so yeah, we've got Fork. Yeah, purple is incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Fork. This is a skip.
Yeah, Fork sucks.
Fork sucks. Don't take Fork. All right, moving on. Freezing ink makes it's a sword.
Yeah.
It's on fire. It cuts. It burns. It's good. But freezing ink. This is a terrible thing. This is also a skip. Now, this is it's not quite run defining, but it is so good.
Oh
for
yeah,
support.
it is.
Oh, you think so?
It's
Okay.
run
Okay.
defining. I think so. Yeah. I
Okay.
think it's run defining.
How so? I gotta know.
I think when you play support, as long as you're perking for it, just the fact that you're already playing books, right? You're playing Scroll of Speed, playing Scroll of Intellect. Then the fact that you just get that much, like a pseudo Blizzard for free, um, in theory, every turn, if you have enough books, it's just outrageously good, in my
But do
opinion.
you?
And you get speed control from it too.
Mhm.
I'm always just so happy to get out of Fable just to get this at the end of it. I think it's incredible.
Yeah, I do have to admit this is like pretty incredible. I can't really deny it, as much as I might like to. It's a good weapon. I'll keep it as run defining. It's weird because like I don't think I've ever built my run around it. It's not like I've built into like book damage because there is no like book damage outside of this weapon. But if you build, you're right in terms of building cold and wet. Like it's super impactful for the run.
Yeah.
Um, Frost Axe. I mean, this is probably run defining, but in like a bad way.
Mhm. It's just so out of the way, and it's so expensive to get to, but it is run defining, and you can
Yeah.
do some pretty funny things with it for sure.
Yeah, and you're right, Bin Bin. Fort can go below Dynamite. Transforming your damage to cold, although worse, is nice. And then every bleed you apply chill, that's like got some utility on the bleed runs. I have not done a Frost Axe run yet, but I have a theoretical knowledge of how this will work.
Yeah, I've done a couple. It's really fun. They're obscure, but they're really fun.
Yeah. Um, Frozen Orb, I'm putting it right next to Burning Orb. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
it's great when you get it early. Feels really good. Glacial Hammer, this
I
is
think it's
great.
actually ahead of Burning or Frozen Orb.
That's fair because
Just
it's
because
speed control. Yeah.
Volcanic Axe is guaranteed, and then at the boss, but Frost Axe you have to go out of your way. So Burning Orb's always getting replaced, whereas Frozen Orb may not be.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
I think
Um,
Glacial Hammer is great.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's
up there
great
with Ghost
throughout.
Dagger. Yeah,
I think the speed control it gives is just generally puts it on the next level. It's useful on more
yeah,
teams. But
agree.
that's all. Blessed charges from Golden Chalice makes it honestly pretty good throughout. Like,
I think it's great throughout too. I think it's but obviously Chalice of Kings is a straight upgrade, but usually Chalice of Kings is functionally a golden chalice anyway.
usually, unless you get it upgraded.
Yeah, unless you get it corrupted. So
Yeah.
I really like having a bless increase. Yeah,
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I like it too. I've kept this on many a run to the very late game when I never found something better. So,
yeah,
healing book. It's in the same like kind of spot as like cold and fire, except it's just worse. So it's draw on playing a healing spell. There's some okay healing spells that you might get that are cheap to play.
yeah.
That you might
It
enjoy.
kind of depends for me. If you're playing Liar, then Lay on Pause is just amazing all the time. So
Right.
yeah. Otherwise, yeah, agree with you.
Glacial Hammer isn't great. It's cool. Thanks, Chumsy.
Right, let's chill out with the puns.
Hellblade. I'd actually put this as run defining as
Yep.
well.
Agreed.
Adding mark on hit is really unique as an effect. There's nothing else that's very similar to this. I don't think there's any other mark related weapon. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like the only one, and it's nice to have. It's also burn on hit, right? I'm like double checking myself here. There's that later. It's only if you get it upgraded. Okay.
Yeah, upgraded. Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, you can build your whole run around this. You can build your run around corrupting it, and it feels really strong because adding damage through mark is very strong. Golden Cross this is like significantly weaker. I don't know. I'd say it's like good Act 1. It's not like bad.
Yeah.
Feels fine for the holy damage team. Put it above Divination Orb because that's probably a better team. High Chancellor's Staff. This is Cornelius' starting weapon.
Yeah, sucks. You're looking to get rid of it pretty soon, right? So
Yeah. It's like it's fine for Act 1, but you're probably replacing it with most other things. But you're not replacing it with Fiery Wand, I can tell you that.
it's fair enough. Yeah.
I'll put it at like the bottom of good Act. Holy Book, similar to the Cold and Fire books, it can go right in between. Holy Grail is kind of just like Chalice of Kings,
Yep.
and that's it. I'm gonna put it right
Yep.
behind Chalice of Kings because it just doesn't like show up as often. Ice Orb, I tend to like a bit better than Frozen Orb. It's more chill charges instead of damage. Still really great early. Usually you replace it with like one of these frost weapons up here. Holy Hammer. I'm speeding through these because, you know, just trying to make sure we're sticking on a good time.
Yeah, I have to take my dog out at 5:30, so yeah, we can stay on time.
Holy Hammer is fantastic. If you're going Sanctify, applying Sanctify on hit, this can actually be really good for if you have like any Sanctify charges on your hero, you can heal a lot off of this. This lets you attack into Thorns very easily. It's pretty nice. He's coming, the one and only Icebreaker, the Hammer of God, the item winning the run that makes the game feel insanely dumb and makes you question balancing in general. I don't know what you're talking about. This is a perfectly balanced item that has never made an impact on any run that was too significant. Icebreaker. I mean, what's there to say? We've kind of talked about this a little bit already, but this is a lot of damage. Whenever you apply crack, you deal damage. And there's lots of ways to apply crack. It also gives you extra cold damage, which it's not showing in the application here, but this is already a deal 10 damage thanks to its like +3 stat bonus that gives you. And apply 3 chill charges, and that's before any perks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, I mean, this will make Nalia basically deal double damage a hit. Is how this functionally works. And if there's a weapon that can just straight up double your damage, you're gonna feel pretty good about it. I don't have much more to say than that. Like,
no, you got it.
There's a lot of runs. If you haven't seen Icebreaker work, I'm sure GA has some carry videos you can watch, and it's pretty disgusting. I also have some videos with Nalia. I think
finished
our level 1,
Madness
right?
16 on level 1.
Yeah, Madness 16 level 1.
Yeah.
Oh, did you know what? Kevon was telling me the other day that apparently they beat Madness 18 at level 1. So
that's right. Yeah, it's in the Discord.
Yeah,
with the same same strategy.
That makes sense. Iron Cannonbow. Icebreaker OP. No, Icebreaker's balanced. Iron Cannonbow, I like this. It's vulnerable charges.
It's great.
Yeah.
Plus vulnerable charges anywhere is fantastic. Same with the dagger, right, that you get in Aquafall that we'll come on to later. Yeah, vulnerable charges, excellent.
Yeah. It's just good. Jolly Roger. I mean, this is up there at least with like Berserker Claws, that sort of stuff. Probably better. Because you get the Fury always, but then you giving Inspire to somebody else is nice. And then obviously, if you get purple, all heroes gaining Fury and Inspire is incredibly good.
I think it's good, and then if it becomes purple, then it's outrageous. But you don't get the Fury; it's a random hero.
No, you gain the Fury. No, a random hero gains 1 Inspire, and then you gain the Fury. I was unclear on this as well. Yeah, but like when I was playing with it, Bin corrected me, and I was like, oh yeah, you're totally right. You always get the Fury.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. It's the way it's worded is.
It is. It's weird.
It's confusing.
It is confusing. I too was confused. Is Jolly Roger not equal to Edge of Fury? Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, it totally would be equal to Edge of Fury. I would actually. You're right. Now that we have a run defining, the only problem with Jolly Roger is that you have to face the toughest boss in the game, and like it's not even close. And if you're not prepared, you may well lose to them.
Yeah, but it is better than Edge of Fury.
It is absolutely better than Edge of Fury, and I mean, yeah, purple Jolly Roger is totally worth going to the Rat King to get it corrupted.
Yeah,
you can build a really fun strategy around it. So yeah, it's run defining. I should just make it there. Lava Orb, similar to Burning Orb, except I like it better.
Yeah, I think Lava Orb's really good on the. Usually, you're taking Volcanic Axe on a carry, and you might be playing Cornelius support.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lava Orb's very, very, very good on the Cornelius support.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Cool.
Lightbringer. God. There's a run that you could totally build around. Like, you could build around Lightbringer. It's just, I don't know what that run is, because, like, you don't build it that way. It gives you +1 bless charges, though, so it gets to go up here, next to Holy Grail, Chalice of Kings.
Yeah.
On Reginald carry, this can sometimes be nice.
Yes.
Otherwise, eh.
Yeah.
Lightning
It's a shame
Spear.
because you get it so late,
Yeah.
right? You get it so late, you can't really. You have to have built around it, but then you get it so late. It's yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, there's no, and it's not like easy to do mass bless procs. Just generally, those are really expensive cards. Yeah, it's tough. Lightning Sphere. This is like your semi replacement for Charged Trident if you can get it purple. It's not bad, but Spark is a little bit like weaker unless you're Wilbur, in which case Spark is just as good as Burn. Yeah, sorry, it's better than Burn. I'll put it
Yeah.
here. It's great throughout. It's
Yeah.
nice damage buff. I like it better than Chaotic Spear, just generally.
Yeah. Both Lightning Book and Longbow can gonna go with all the books.
Yeah,
Do them both at once. The next two.
yeah.
Good
Books
throughout.
and book. Yeah, just draw. Yeah, just put it next to. I don't know. I'll have a like particular order for that. Magus Staff. I mean, even though it's like better than Fiery Wand and Icy Wand, it's still kind of like a skip for me generally. It fits on more teams, but like, I don't know. I'll fix that when I write the text descriptions for all cards. Thanks, Bin Bin. You'll fix the Jolly Roger. Machine Oil. This is a card that I don't know. Is it good? Does it have use cases? This is like a really sad Freezing Ink. Is how I
Is
feel
it that?
about it.
Is it much worse than Freezing Ink? I saw someone in your chat say the same thing, and I was like ready to
Yeah.
dive in and argue the.
It's
It's not.
Freezing Ink
Freezing
is
Ink's
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah, the problem is Freezing
Machine
Ink is
Oil.
just incredible.
Yeah.
But that's because cold and wet are incredible. Machine Oil is on the burn strategy, which is not bad, but this can't be played on a support generally. I mean, it can be played on a support, but like Cornelius support, this is fine. I think one of the problems is the path you have to go to get it is rough.
True.
You're skipping out the key.
I do like it on Corn. Yeah, I do like it on Corn support.
Yeah.
So and obviously on Corn carry too.
Yeah, Corn carry, this can be fine. I mean, but generally I like Lava Axe. Like, it's not like it's bad. It's just like there's better options for it, I think, is part of the problem. And like, because it's lack of utility as a support, like, unless you're Cornelius support, like Cornelius support also can play Freezing Ink. You know what I mean? Like, very, very few people ever play Machine Oil, and it's just pathing is worse. Whereas like the pathing of Freezing Ink is the main boss. DLC weapon too, no. Yeah, it is a DLC weapon as well. So I guess therefore it's worse because you have to pay for it. But it's still great if you're going for the burn strategy. Magic Tome, this is just better than all the books because it's any spell. So
Yeah, very flexible.
I mean, this might actually just be great throughout. I've had many a run where this is actually great throughout. It's like, it's not Archmage book, but that's a that's a high bar. Nem's Runestone, mind damage is bad, so it should feel bad. Mind Book goes with the books. Kind of an explanation of why. And then we get to Netherblade. Also would be a run-defining item if it could be guaranteed. Netherblade's incredible.
It's the best weapon in the game. And it's funny, regardless of your damage type, usually this is often just better than whatever your weapon is. And especially if you're playing a bless-based strategy, the bless obviously applies to the mind damage, gives vulnerable. It's just incredible. You can transform the mind as well, so it's just outrageously good.
Yeah, I agree. It's incredible. I take it on most teams if ever they find it. Sometimes I've skipped Netherblade before, but it's usually because I have like a run-defining weapon on my carry already, and I just don't have a use for, like, I don't have somebody else hitting. So that's it. Mjolnir is also a run-defining item. Even if it disappoints me to say, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's really good.
It's pretty good. Okay, I have a couple problems with Mjolnir. One, it's really hard to get without like getting injuries in your deck, and on Madness 18 without any mods or anything to like help you out.
True. Yeah,
that sucks.
So it's
So
really
like
bad,
I don't know that this is a weapon that's worth getting like potentially 2 injuries in your deck for, or potentially not getting at all. Like,
yeah, that is a downside.
And you have to have Sigrun, who's already really good. I guess you don't have to have Sigrun.
There are ways around it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Mjolnir is good when you can actually get it. Exactly. As an item, I think it's fantastic. Dealing damage to a random monster, of course, when you play melee attack and drawing. This is like Tempest, but slightly different in that you deal damage instead of gain sharp, which is another way to get damage. It's great. I still think any team that is running Mjolnir for their damage would probably do just as well, if not better, with Charge Trident in terms of damage. Like, unless you are capped out on wet charges from some other way, which, as we've established, is hard to do. I don't think it's going to be the best item for that slot. Still great.
Yeah.
I quickly put Morningstar there. It's another sharp item. Mortar and Pestle. This is funny because it's like the best like poison applicator right next to the Venom blade. Sorry, Venom Fang. Yeah, this gives +3 poison charges. This gives +3 poison charges. The only problem is that this increases the flasks by 1. But if you're not playing flask and you are going poison, this is fine. Why Mortar and Pestle?
Why on earth? Just the only reason was because of Bernard's. Bernard's, I think, is level 2. Is based on the cost of the flask.
Yeah.
But that niche application. Yes, for every energy spent, you apply 4 poison. But I just cannot wrap my head around the design of this one, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's funny that Icebreaker is better than the literal Hammer of God. Yeah, it's funny and true. But yeah, I agree. This one doesn't make any sense to me. Increasing the cost of your card is just making it worse. You don't take this if you're playing flasks. To put that in perspective, it's gonna make your run worse. And I think that's all I need to say about it. But if you aren't doing that and you do just need something to apply a lot of poison, like you're doing Thol's hit spam, just for the poison, sure, it's fine. Mystic Staff, this is like a good Act 1, Act 2. I never hate it. I never also, like, I don't, it gives you powerful. It's 1 damage. Sometimes I have it as an intermediary.
It's fine.
It's fine. Obsidian Staff. Can you get this outside of the, like, anvil?
Where is the Obsidian Dagger? Oh, it's up next. Okay. I was just looking at the...
Yeah. So I was thinking, like, can you get the Obsidian Staff outside of the anvil? Like, is it... I don't think you can, right?
No, you cannot.
Yeah, so it's weird because, like, I almost never... I've never gone here to get Obsidian Staff. It's not for something I felt like it was worth building around. It gives you a lot of Spark and Crack charges, which isn't bad, but there's better items for doing both of those. And those aren't damage type that go together in any synergistic way. So, yeah.
Agreed.
I actually, like, because you can't really get it, I'll honestly just put it in the skip.
Skip it. Yeah, we skip it usually.
Obsidian Dagger. This is nice. This is a cost decrease on attacks.
Yeah, you put Emerald Staff in good. Would you put this in great?
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't put this in great. I don't know. Maybe...
Because Whirlwind It's
Yeah,
only really
it's
Whirlwind
only really
that
Whirlwind.
is
Yeah.
hitting this,
Sorry,
right?
I actually, I was just thinking, you're right. I did put this next to Emerald Staff. I was just thinking again, I was like, oh, this is like cost 3 or greater or something, right? No, it's cost 5 or greater. Never mind. They made Obsidian Dagger sad. It makes me sad. Orb of Storms, I'll put next to Burning Orb. It's kind of in
Yeah,
this
makes
order for
sense.
me. Um, Pirate Grog at combat start, gaining. Oh, wrong screen. Oh, sorry, my bad. Thank you. Thank you for the ping, Bin Bin. Pirate Grog. Combat start. Gain 4 Fury, gain 3 Mitigate, and you also gain, what, some Insanity and stuff? Well, time to go back to the screen.
It's insane and slow.
Insane and slow. Ooh, slow at combat start. Yeah, I think there's a reason I don't have this unlocked yet.
It's pretty confused, right? It's not. It's partially carry, partially defense. I would usually skip this. I think I don't see a reason for taking this.
Yeah, Kivon's like, the Pirate Grog is good in OTK. You can dispel the negative effects with Clarity and Helping Hand. I mean, you're not wrong. Like, it could be dispelled. I agree. I
It's
normally skip
fine.
this. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
maybe like good Act 1, Act 2. I feel like you're usually getting something better later. Usually, I think this is one of the hard parts too. Your carry, if this is like a carry item, your carry is getting one of these weapons as their goal.
Yeah, there's so much competition.
Yeah. Like, so you have to fight against all of that, and 4 Fury is unfortunately not good enough. Poison Dagger. Poison Dagger. It's like here with Battle Axe, except worse. I don't know if I put it ahead or behind Divination Orb, but it's one of those. Okay, Prophet Staff. Here we go. This is great, or sorry, this is good on Act 1 and Act 2, especially if you've just recently gone up in the difficulty levels. That way you can see what all the monsters are doing. And you can plan accordingly on who to target down.
Yep, I'm fine with that.
Otherwise,
No, but I'm not gonna get rid. I'm not gonna rise to the bait.
okay, fine. I was trying to bait you there.
I know. I'm not gonna take it.
All right. Purple Tentacle. I thought this was something that you could kind of build around. I don't know how I feel about it anymore though. Once I got to it. What would you say? Good, great.
It's good. It's fine.
Is it good throughout? It's kind of like good throughout.
It's good throughout. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like extra stuff to do, which generally is good.
Yeah.
Inkshot does damage. It applies wet. Wet charges are hard to apply. This gives you more wet charges. It seems like it'd be really good, and I don't know why when I played with it, it just didn't feel that good. Maybe I was doing something wrong. Even on M18, it's useful if you play without restarts. Yeah, that is true. Quill. This is a worse.
I still think it's great throughout.
Yeah.
But it's worse than obviously worse than Fountain Pen.
Yeah, it's kind of like here with Magic Tome. Like it's just.
Yeah.
It gives you the Inspire, it gives you the draw. It's nice. Raider's Slicer. It's draw on melee attack. It
Should
goes
be with the
that.
books. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Raven's Staff. I mean, it's really great if you're going the Insanity Sight Nesglect.
Yeah.
That's
Which
it.
you should not be.
You shouldn't be, but if you are, this is your weapon. This is your weapon of choice. And it can work on Madness 18 at the very least, so it's not the worst thing. Rusty Hook, what does this every turn do? Sorry, before I put it in some sort of weird place.
Give rust to random monster and poison to random monster. It's immune to disarm.
God, why does rust make wet do worse for you? This one's not too bad. It gives you the poison. If you're going full poison, it's kind of fine. I don't.
It's fine.
Hate it. It's yeah.
I personally will never ever take this, but if you want to,
I'll put it in like, I don't know, good Act 1,
somewhere
Act 2. You might take it. You probably will pass. You'll get better poison items later.
by definition, you get it at the end of Act 2, right?
Yeah,
So
it's true.
if it's good, how can it be? You literally cannot play it in Act 1 or Act 2. You can
I'm
only
not
play it
denying that.
in Act 3 onwards.
I'm not denying that. I'm putting it there, and I.
Doesn't that make it a skip by definition?
I don't know. We don't have like an Act 3 only here. It's fine at the beginning of Act 3, maybe if you don't have any better poison charges. You're usually skip. Okay, fine. You usually skip. That's what this is termed for. Usually it's a skip.
It says,
but
yeah,
like,
literally says usually skip.
fine. Yeah, that's why I decide on these beforehand, and then you keep me honest. Um, Sacred Axe. What's funny is this is actually really good, but like I never go for it because it's annoying to get because you have to buy it.
Yeah, it is real. It's a real pain in the ass to get.
Yeah,
It makes me sad just in general. The items in Ulamin and the items in Sassi are just much more underwhelming than other zones. You know, I can understand why people don't want power creep in the game, but they're actually markedly worse, in my opinion, than Velkrath and Feyborg.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, the monsters are markedly stronger.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Sacred Axe is good though. Like this is applying
good,
Burn,
yeah.
Bleed, and Sanctify on hit. Like this is all good. It's kind of there with Holy Hammer, Unholy Hammer. The only problem is like you can't just find Sacred Axe and you have to purchase it. Like that's why it's going in good instead of great, because like you're never getting it for free. That's my logic. It doesn't make sense, but you can deal with it if you disagree in the chat. Sacred Tablet, I'd say this is good, Act 1.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Ooh.
Now with Jelly,
Ooh.
I think this could be good throughout, even just the effective health. It's better than it was. And you speculate. And you speculate on it. It's just so much effective health, especially if you're playing like 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. It's a lot of resist reduction and it's a lot of health. So I still think it's good. There are runs where I did a high score run and I took this throughout the entire run on Android.
I mean, all right, Kevin agrees with you, so therefore I'll put it in good throughout. I can hear you out. That's I feel like you're I guess with Jelly specifically, but then you have to invest the 700 gold into Jelly, but then it's not bad. But
Jelly is sick. Jelly is so good.
Jelly is sick. Well, Jelly is actually what inspired my Reginald Lightning build. Going for that purple Jelly.
You can play Jelly in any comp.
Oh, you absolutely can. I just wanted to make use of its damage.
Yeah.
Which was fun. Salt is poison. Poison's not great. Poison's bad. Well, it's nice to have salt as an available like option for poison because actually like poison lacked that before, but it's still not great.
Speaking of bad
Screwdriver.
Damage.
All right, if you're going thorns, this is great throughout. This is. All right, you don't go thorns, so skip Screwdriver. Just don't play thorns. You know how GA says don't play bleed or poison? Now, bleed and poison are actually like a lot more viable than thorns is on Madness 18, and that's saying a lot. So don't do Screwdriver. I think Sacred Tablet is better than Dracomancer's Staff, Purple Tentacle. Wait.
I agree.
Wait. No way. On the majority of teams, getting a flash freeze on round 2 is insane. You literally just you neutralize a monster for the whole turn. Also on like any wet team, Purple Tentacle is giving you so much more effective wet. That's like 10 wet a turn most likely, right? Oh, no, sorry. It's every 2 turns put an ink shot. Right, that's why Purple Tentacle is rough. Okay, I'll put it ahead of Purple Tentacle. You sold me on that one. But not Dracomancer's Staff. Dracomancer's Staff is insane. It's actually really good. It's just on a weird route.
Isn't Sacred Tablet like a guaranteed pickup, so should it not be run defining?
I'm about to put it in skip. No, it's not run defining. There's no way you build a holy team around this. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Just because of ease of access. Yeah, I don't know. Sacred Tablet isn't guaranteed though, right? It's just like likely to find. That's my problem with it. I mean, in terms of finding it early game, I should know because I tried to
80%
find
of
it
the time
yesterday.
it's guaranteed.
Huh?
I said 80% of the time it's guaranteed.
80% of the time it's guaranteed. That's how guarantees work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scryer staff. If you're going site, this is great. You apply burn. If you're going site burn, Nezglect on a burn team for support, this feels really fine. Did I? I don't know if I sold it. I don't know. I'm gonna put it as like good throughout on a site team. It's bottom of the barrel.
Problem. Makes sense.
If site wasn't capped at 100, it'd be a lot better. Searing Dagger.
Although it's great in Act 1.
Burn. Yeah, it is great in Act 1. This is one of the nice ones to find. Searing Blast is good enough in Act 1 that it isn't putting a dead card in your deck. Yeah, I like it. But you're arguing with an OTK player. There is no round 2, but it is not because site sucks. Site does kind of suck. Alright, Seashell. This is a new one I haven't really played with too much. Every turn gains stanza and increase the cost of what, all song cards or something?
Never ever take this.
Does it actually increase the cost of all song cards? Sorry, I have to like is that what that does? Why?
Because of Sigrun specifically as spell singer, but it's just so niche. It's so bad.
Why would you ever no? Come on, increasing the cost of cards is it's so like fundamental to the card being good or bad, like what cost it is. Like I don't know why they changed that.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, this is like literally this will hurt your run. Yeah, I could have a whole new tier for that. Shadow Book goes with books. I like Shadow more than mine, so I'm just gonna put it up there. Shadow Orb in a weird way is actually like great in Act 1, Act 2. Specifically because like you need Dark Charges Act 1, Act 2 like desperately from any source. For that team to work optimally. Sharp Scimitar. This is gain sharp, not draw, right?
Yes, gain sharp, yeah.
Okay, so I'll put this as like...
It's not bad, yeah.
It's fine. Great Act 1, Act 2, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's sharp. Short Sword is another speculation. Get sharp.
Yep.
Silver Chalice is like a pretty far away skip. Healing is not really what you do. Singing Sword's pretty fun. Purple Singing Sword's amazing. It's Insanity application. I like it more than Ravenstaff because it has some utility in getting stanza. Yeah, sorry, I was just double checking the Singing Sword. The stanza 2 speculation's also obviously kind of fun.
Yeah.
You can take where the stanza increases all damage on a carry. It is not good, but it's better than Fork, I think. I guess, you know, if you're playing that one specific perk, you could be right. Stone Maul is run defining.
That is technically true.
It is so impactful to get crack on hit on a blunt team. Like this will make Carry Bree super strong, and you get it at the beginning of Act 2, guaranteed. Carry Bree goes off with Stone Maul, and then if you can, you replace it with Destroyer's Gauntlets. If you can't, you run Stone Maul the entire time. Tempest, also run defining, but like of an amazing class. This is like Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Gives you sharp,
Probably
gives you
better
draw.
because you get sharp.
Huh?
It's probably better than Mjolnir because of the sharp.
Yeah, I'm never like sure because like getting raw damage versus getting sharp, and you can increase the raw damage. Like Mjolnir could be doing like 100 damage to a random monster, and this could be giving you like 10 damage on your next attack. So it's hard for me to like gauge, but it's close. They're basically tied in my opinion. But Tempest is like, you're right. Tempest is way better because the guarantee for it is like way easier, and you don't have to get injured. The only sad part is you miss out on the good pathing through the Velcrath and going through the center. Tesseract is the highest cost card in your hand. Gets decreased. This is like 7, right?
Yeah, it's a lot.
This is niche as heck.
Yeah.
It might be good for you in Act 1, Act 2, maybe in some sort of team. I've taken this before, and it's been okay. But this is like super niche. This is usually skip, so by definition. But I will say there are times where it's not terrible. Dark
Yeah.
One. Dark One is Dark One's awful because you know what? Dark One never shows up when you're playing a dark team. It only shows up on every other run outside of dark teams, and therefore you usually skip it. It's by definition. No. If you're a dark team, this is fantastic. This is gonna be
Yeah,
better
the
than Curse
best.
Dagger, the best dark
Yeah.
application card in the game.
Yeah.
Explosions at 34, you're reducing resistances more, and dark resistances used to be hard to reduce, though honestly that's not so much of a problem anymore. Um, the dark one is probably the best dark one. I take 100% of the time on dark. Oh, Keyvon's responding. Just trolling Keyvon. Yeah, it's good. Okay, Porcupine also never shows up on Thorns runs, so therefore skip. Although genuinely don't do Thorns, so this is going to be a lesson to Thorns players everywhere, including myself.
Even
Don't
if
do
you do,
Thorns.
it's still, it's just always feels like it does way less than I think you would.
It does. It never feels like it's doing that much damage. But
It costs so much gold for what you get.
oh
I'd
yeah,
never spend money on this.
spending money on this feels awful. But you do gain thorns every turn, which is nice. And then if you get the upgrade, you get extra thorns charges, which is cool. Next, we get to Wolf Slayer, which is interesting because if you corrupt this could be great throughout, right? Inspire on your whole
I
team.
think it's great. I think it's great throughout, regardless.
Great throughout, regardless. Yeah,
I think it's so good.
it is
It's
a good
an extra
weapon.
draw.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially with the. Well, I'm biased because I play Inspire draws too a lot on a lot of characters. Even though I'm not doing OTK, I'll play on 3 characters, any character that's not the carry. So this just giving draw 2 straight out the gate is, yeah, it's amazing.
yeah. No, I mean that makes sense. And honestly, the Inspire draw 2 on characters, I think makes a ton of sense just generally because like what you're giving up is a late game that feels like better and more consistent in the sense that you could have like Inspire 3 or more on everybody. However, that's not all teams, and the early game is the hardest part generally, right? So you're not worried about the late game as much. So I totally understand the thinking there. Timepiece. Timepiece is nice. Combat start, sometimes you slow something. Like I've kept this for a unusually long time on Amelia before. Replaced by Eldritch One usually, if I can.
I think it's good in Act 1 and Act 2.
Yeah. Oh, good,
Me.
just good. Yeah, good. Yeah, it's
Good.
sometimes
good in Act
it
1
makes a
and Act
nice speed difference. I'll defer though.
2. Yeah.
It's at the top of
I mean,
good.
it's completely outclassed by Eldritch Wand, but
It is, yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Torch goes down here. Twin Blades goes up here. It draws.
Yeah, it should go next to Flail in my opinion, or ahead of Flail actually.
Yeah, there we go. And a flail.
Yeah.
Which I guess Raider Slicer would do as well.
Yeah.
That's just
Unholy
literally
Hammer.
better. Unholy Hammer.
Unholy Hammer along with Sacred Axe should be somewhere near Sacred Axe.
Yeah, this is another thing that's really good. Like, it's got a lot of good things that you're applying. Except for Dark. Dark doesn't fit on a lot of, like, the Cold and Crack. I don't know what that combination is, but it doesn't fit. But it is nice to have those on hit effects. Those ones are good on hit effects,
Yeah.
unlike Chaotic Spear. Venom Fang is probably great throughout. We put it next to what we have next to Iron Cannibal. It's kind of like for the same reason.
It's really, really good.
This is
I really like it a
guaranteed,
lot.
as is Iron Cannibal. So it's nice. Volcanic Axe is run defining. This is like one of the premier run defining cards. They're one of the easiest to get because you get this after a boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, transforming your damage to fire. This used to be more amazing, but applying burn on hit does a lot for your fire teams. We've used that item to death, probably. Warhammer goes here. It's nice
Goes
early
next
game.
to like Frozen Orb and Ice Orb.
Oh yeah, actually that's true. It can go up here. It's kind of great in Act 1, Act 2 for the
Act 1, Act 2.
for the team that it's on. The wine bottle. Whenever you play a skill, something happens. All right, I'm just gonna put it down here. It's probably a skip. I've never taken it in my life.
You gain 2 Fury and 2 Insane, which is not bad.
2 Fury and 2 Insane. Maybe that's not terrible. I've never unlocked it, apparently. I didn't find it worth it when I found it. That's right. Yeah, I remember wine bottle. I don't know. It's not terrible,
Uh,
but
it's
I wouldn't
fine.
go out of my way for
Uh,
it.
there's probably a lot of other better candidates.
Yeah. Winged Wand. This is like a usually skip, but I will say sometimes it's clutch in if you need to speed up your a team with heals.
Yeah, I'm so sad that rocket boots forces you to lose the speed at the start of the turn because there's
Hmm.
so many interesting things that you can do both with the winged wand as well as the armor um, that gives fast as well. It's such a shame because that could have been so cool to use that wand to like give Nano Kill so much fast, but it drops off at the start of the turn, unfortunately.
GA, you know what you gotta do? You gotta do a bin mod and gotta do an OTK with the
Yeah,
speed weapons.
yeah, yeah.
Um, Wooden Crosshair. This is a nice early game. It's just healing, for your carry often.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
say
good.
this is
Good in Act One.
good Act One. Yeah, it's there. It's not speed control, but it's good. Shadow damage. It's here. Yelmer's Branch. It's like sometimes nice on your healer. I'm usually skipping this, but I have taken this a weird amount of times on any time I've played a healer. I guess just because it's like kind of usable. If you're going a healer, you're probably taking Yelmer's Branch. Let's be honest.
I don't know. I like gold.
Well, are you playing a healer? um,
I think Yoga's Cleaver is
Yager's
probably
Cleaver.
good in Act One or great in Act One. It's
Yeah, I put it
guaranteed.
great. It's guaranteed bleed. You do get it right before you face an enemy who's immune to bleed, which is like the weirdest. Why the first boss has an immunity is beyond me. Sorry, an immunity that's
Yeah,
not like stun or something, but just to like a damage type.
very
That's
strange.
that's so weird. I want a second first boss. That's the number one thing I want out of anything they could possibly do. I do actually. I did miss an item. Let me go back very briefly here. We got a
Broken.
we got a rank blood goblet.
Oh yeah, you did miss it.
Yeah, I did miss it. I apparently didn't save an image of it. Doing that
And
right
broken
now.
item.
Well, I did not include broken item for obvious reasons. But yes, blood goblet. It'll go. Where do you think? For every dark charge you apply bleed. That sounds awful. That's right. I've looked at this item and I've always thought it was awful. It doesn't even give you increased dark charges. If it could at least do that, then it'd be doing something. But it's kind of like you're saying, hey, take something that's like functional and useful in dark charges and turn it into something that is like marginally useful in bleed charges. Like,
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
yeah, that's gonna go and usually skip, I think. So
Yeah.
you're not taking it.
No.
Yeah. Sorry, I need to like put this here. There we go. Woo! Skip it. All right, we did it.
Perfect. With 2 minutes to spare as well before I have to take the dog out.
Incredible. I want an act after the final boss. More maps. There is an endless mode mod. Yeah, Bin's got you covered. But yeah, I don't think any of these are too bad. I don't have any like. Yeah, I think of the qualms I had, I think you're right in that freezing ink probably is run defining. I just don't think of it that way. It is a huge buff to a run. I just don't think of it as something to build around. That's the only one that's weird to me. But I do understand your reasoning, and I was outvoted. Look at all these speculation just for the sharp. It is nice that there's a bunch of early game weapons that you can kind of speculate on for sharp. What sucks is finding
Yeah.
all four of these. But yeah, that's gonna do it. We'll be doing armor again at some point, if not next week, sometime later. We'll find a time. But thanks again for
Yeah,
joining,
perfect.
GA.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, no, thank you for having me on.
Yeah. All right, and that's gonna do it for today. Have a great day or night wherever you are. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like. Gotta do all those YouTuber things, you know, feed the algorithm, show more people across the obelisk. That's the dream. Anyways, goodbye, everybody.